Haven't Seen It with Tim Sestito and Tommy Tevening. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you all so much for listening today. This is a podcast where one of us is watching a movie for the very first time. And today, that is myself. That is Tommy. Michael Mann's Thief. We are kicking off Michael Mann Month here on the podcast. That is Thief, Collateral, Miami Vice. We are diving deep into this man's catalog. And oh boy, with his first theatrical release, did we kick it off with a good one? Huh, Tommy?
Yeah, this movie rocked, to say the least. Very the lead. I'm really glad to do Michael Mann Month. Really glad to do stylish, just like action movies. If there's one thing Michael Mann knows how to do, it's how to shoot the fuck out of a car scene. So this movie's chock full of it.
He's so good at, I feel like, getting the grittiness of these kind of jobs of the, Heat is another example, but even something like Public Enemies comes to mind. Like, he clearly has a fascination with crime and like the actual due process that goes along with it versus just like a lot of the other crime movies that are just a little bit more glamorized, if you will, that are just more about the score and the big thing and all the drama that kind of comes with that versus Michael Mann like, it feels real. It feels harsh, and you could definitely feel that with this movie for sure.
Well, it's like in this movie, you'd expect almost like the big heist towards the end to be like part of the climax, but that is almost just glossed over. It's not part of this movie. It's just basically it's like, okay, yeah, it's part of it, but like it's not really what this is driving towards. It's just like another day in the job for this guy, for James Caan.
Yeah, James Caan as Frank, who is just is he the greatest angry guy of all time?
Oh yeah. I mean, when you have the Godfather and you have this, it's just he plays angry so well, and hairiest motherfucker ever too on that
Yeah,
beach scene.
oh, that's nothing. You haven't been to the beach enough then if you haven't seen a guy that's not hairier than Jimmy Caan is in this.
Yeah. It's up there though.
There's hairier dudes for sure. Yeah, this movie is what kicks off his theatrical career. He had been doing television dramas before this. And it's, to me, you can see all the signs of the guy having it like right away.
Oh, this is like a guy who's pretty much fully formed at this point. Like you know what's going on, you know what his style ambitions are, you know what his basically like what he wants to like tell and film is going to be. So like right there, it's a great case of like the debut being like this guy just is at his full strength right now. Like he's only leveling up from here, but it's not like his debut is weak. Like it's not like a rough draft at all.
It's not a Piranha 2 situation.
No.
No, but yeah, it's I feel like this movie definitely, especially towards the end, had some rough around the edges, if you will, with the editing specifically in the final scene, I noticed, which was more funny to me than anything, but definitely was like for me, I was really locked in on this movie the entire time, and then at the end, I was like, oh, okay, the blood really does not look good on this transfer, and like the editing on some of the deaths and stuff were really patchy, really like noticeably patchy.
It's very red blood. Like it's just like like almost like too saturated. Where it's like kind of almost like Dawn of the Dead, where that works for that movie because Dawn of the Dead's like kind of going for a comic booky, cartoony feel, whereas this is more gritty and realistic. So when you see that, I know you mean where it almost takes you like, wait, what? You're going for that type of blood?
Yeah, it looks like paint. It doesn't look like
Yeah.
blood. But overall, like a very, you know, I was thinking while watching this, I was like, Michael Mann is really good at getting us into the headspace of the characters, and he kind of expands as his career goes on, but especially with this movie to begin with, like to kick off his theatrical debut, like we fully get into the headspace of Frank. We fully understand, and he's fully realized, and like this piece is really a character piece with two heist jobs and a whack job thrown in there. Everything else is just kind of it really revolves around this character and
Yeah. Like there's
getting
no
what he
character
wants.
development outside of him.
Yeah.
Khan's the only one that gets like real dimension. I feel like in a way the other characters don't. but it's okay because like we're in this guy's interiority.
How did you feel about seeing Jim Belushi on the screen?
There's like it's just something weird about Jim Belushi. Where like I've seen a bunch of Jim Belushi movies in the last like year or so, where there's this
That's a sentence that only you have ever said.
yeah, I got, like, drunk on a train once and watched K-9, which was, like, his Turner and Hooch. That was made, like, a year or 2 after.
Oh
Whereas
god.
Jim Belushi's, like, the slob, and, of course, there's, his Hooch, which is just a K-9 German Shepherd. It was insane. But there's a weird stretch in the '80s where, like, for some reason, Jim Belushi was positioned as, like, a tough guy. Like, he had that movie. He had, Red Heat with Schwarzenegger. He had, like, High School High, where these movies were, like, he's, like, the action hero, or he's, like, the gruff kinda cop, the Chicago cop. And it's so funny, like, where Jim Belushi's now just a walking punchline where it's just like, yeah, well, the wrong kid died kind of essentially.
Yeah, he definitely does get that short end of the stick there, just like, "Ooh." Uh, he it's not that he's bad, it's just that, like, he lacks that charisma that
He's
his
like
brother had.
anti-charisma.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is. He's really just a guy with a famous last name, unfortunately
Yeah.
for him, and he's made a good career out of it. From all accounts I can tell, he's not like a bad guy or anything, but
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
certainly like
Were you a big, Courtney to Jim fan? That was his big sitcom.
that was his big. Didn't that last like 3 seasons or something? Like,
No, no, that lasted for, like, a while, I feel like.
oh really?
Cour uh,
I don't know. I've no.
it's one of those things that, like, when you're out, like, watching TBS, like, back in the days of cable, you were like, "Oh, according to Jim's on, I'm gonna switch the channel." Like, that's immediate. That, like, ran for 8 seasons in, like, the 2000s.
Oh,
What a career, what a life.
you know what? I wanted to bring this up because I was listening to the Rewatchables, which is like one of the godfathers of movie podcasts. If you're unfamiliar with it,
Mm.
and I can't remember which episode it was, but I think it was the one where Bill Simmons was talking about his like most rewatchable movies of the 21st century. Like, it's a great listen if you haven't listened to it. I would definitely check it out. It's very funny. Um, but they were talking to the producer who's like a Gen Z guy and like explaining to him like channel surfing and like where the origin of the name rewatchable came from, and it was just about like stumbling onto TBS, TNT, those kind of movie channels, and just going like, oh, this scene's on, okay, and like how that's kind of dead. And I was thinking about that, and then the other night I have a Samsung television, and I turn on the television, and there's like the Samsung movie channels that just show up,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and it was Tombstone, the shootout at the OK Corral. Like, I'm locked in for the rest of the movie. You know what I
Immediately.
immediate
Yeah, yeah,
it's an
yeah.
immediate, like, "Okay, here we go." Like,
Well, it's like one of the Tubi things is, what's it called? Like freaking, Pluto TV is like kind of a similar Tubi type platform where they just essentially will have different channels. We'll do like the action channel, the sci-fi channel, the horror
yeah, yeah.
channel. And you go into it and it's fun just like going in the middle of it. But I don't know, I'm at the point now where like I'm mostly like, I just want to watch the full movie.
No,
I know that
I agree with you, but they're,
yeah.
like, they were saying how that's dead, and I'm like, most people have these kinda smart TVs, and they all have something, like, built into their TV network, like a Tubi Mimic or something like that. And I was just like, I this is not the first time it has happened. Like, I turned on Moneyball one time. Like, I got home from like a Friday night and I just put on my TV and it was Moneyball. And yeah, you bet your butt. You bet your bottom. I was sitting there like, I'm
Yeah,
locked in
yeah, yeah.
now. Like, uh,
Immediately. And,
so
like, shout out the thing is with, like, Tubi and stuff like that, like, I at the same time, like, I can watch it for TV. I'm watching Miami Vice on Tubi, like, the original TV show, which we'll get
ooh,
into more next week when, it's all on Tubi. And speaking of Michael Mann, it rocks. It's an amazing show. You can see his influence immediately when you watch it in the first pilot episode. Um, but just watching a TV show on Tubi is just, like, natural because it's, like, there's built-in breaks for commercials, whereas, like, you watch a movie, it gets interrupted by, like,
I
7 minutes of breaks.
I think I
Uh,
mentioned it during Saturday Night Fever. Like, I originally was like, you know, the economic times are, you got to find a way to save a
yeah,
dollar
yeah.
any way you can. And I tried to watch it on Tubi, and it was just awful. And like the commercial breaks were like 8 minutes long, and there was like about 15 of them littered on the timeline. And I was just like, like every 10 to 15 minutes, there was going to be a commercial break. I was just like, I can't. This is going to take three
Yeah,
and a
yeah,
half
yeah.
hours. I cannot do this. Okay. Like, absolutely not. Like, there's a charm to it within that, like, cable system, and like, even this,
Well,
like
it's one thing if, like, you're watching, like, a shitty movie, like, I watched some, like, shitty '80s sex comedy called Fraternity Vacation on Sunday, and that was on Tubi. It was, like, a real, like, Tubi, like, Tim Robbins' early role where he's just essentially just, like, a horned up college kid on
sounds like a boner comedy.
it's essentially that. It was like it felt like I was watching the '80s equivalent of an American Pie direct-to-DVD video,
Ooh, God,
but
those listen, Tommy and I are of the generation that the American Pie straight to DVD sequel was sought after. It had
it
nothing to
taught
do
us
with
some
it.
stuff.
It had nothing to do with the movie. I just want you to I just want to let you know had nothing to do with the movie. It had everything to do with
They were
the
essentially like softcore pornos.
they were exploitation movies, and like we did not know that at the time. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
But yeah, you watch something like that on Tubi in the commercial, it's like, "Ah, fine, whatever," but then you watch, like you try and watch, like, a legit, like, great movie, and you're like, "Oh god," like, just cut all the shit out.
especially when I, like, wanna I could not imagine watching this movie with commercial breaks, like, from cover to
Oh, yeah,
cover. Like,
no.
you texted me, like, at some point, but, like, I didn't have my phone on me, so I checked my phone after, and, like, I had missed your text by, like, an hour and a half or something, where I was just, like, so completely locked in and focused on this movie that, like,
Mm,
nothing from the outside world could have penetrated that. But you know what?
yeah.
Because like, there's also that other instance of it, especially in, like, the modern day context of the commercial break is, like, because like, it used to be, like, commercial break, you go to the bathroom, you get some water, you get some snacks, like, the TV's running, but whatever. Now it's like, okay, now I'm gonna go on my phone, and then you miss, like, the first 30 seconds to a minute when you come back from the commercial break because 'cause you're on your phone or something like that, and
And then
it's
you
like,
rewind it, and then it goes back to the commercial
commercial
break.
break, and it's just the whole thing's like, the more I have to play with the remote in a movie,
Yeah.
the worse the experience I'm having. This is why the theatrical experience stands supreme, like, empty your bladder
Well,
before
if
you
we're
go in
talking
there.
yeah.
They're not pausing this movie for you, they're not pausing it for anybody. You gotta go. You know, and if you gotta go, you gotta, like, I've seen you, Tommy. The only time you run is when you have to go to the bathroom in the middle of a movie, okay? That's the only time you're running.
Yeah, yeah, because I make the mistake of, like, drinking, like, 3 water bottles before I get there, and all of a sudden, it's just like, "Okay, I'm going, like, 5 times in the movie."
Yeah.
Seeing weapons in theaters was great with the chapter breaks where I was like, "Alright, I'm gonna run to the bathroom right now."
Alright, I can miss the first minute of this. Okay, I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. But speaking of theatrical experience, to tie it back to Thief, this is a movie that, like, now I've finally seen Thief, I really wanna see this movie in theaters because
Oh,
I feel like it'll at
yeah.
least raise, like, a half star for me, just like that Tangerine Dream score, which we'll get
Oh,
into more.
gosh.
Just, like, that rocking like, I really had to set up my subwoofer, and I realized this is what I should do in the future, set my subwoofer pushed up right up against my couch so I could feel the vibrations from the bass when I'm sitting in my fucking chair in my recliner. Like,
I'm
that's
just
like the fucking
I'm picturing your recliner to be the one that George Costanza had with the, like, the
Yeah, yeah,
with the
yeah.
mini fridge in the side, like, "Believe
Oh,
it or
the
not,
dream.
Tommy isn't at home. Please leave a message at the
Oh, yeah,
beep."
it'd be the dream right there, the total dream. Tangerine
That
dream.
is the dream recliner right there, just like a little fridge stocked up so you don't have to get up. Oh, beautiful, beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. But speaking of the theatrical experience, I did not make it out to the theaters, but I did watch something this week at home. I watched Nuremberg with Russell Crowe and Rami Malek, which is a psychiatrist studying Hermann Goring, um, and, like, analyzing him during the Nuremberg trials, after World War II, which I found interesting. I think other people might find it slow, but I find that history and that entire context very fascinating.
I do have to find it funny that, like, I'm looking at the poster right now, and it is fat Russell Crowe.
It's fat Russell Crowe, man. He is,
He is husky looking in that fucking poster.
yeah, he gave up a long time ago in that picture, man. Um, but
Yeah.
Russell Crowe's excellent in it. He's switching between German and English in this movie too, which I didn't that was a skill check I didn't know he had. Uh, just a little trick in his bag, you know. It's like Jordan on the Wizards, you know. A
Yeah.
little sad to see your heroes looking like that, but still got some magic in the pant and in the shoelaces. But yeah, it's a very compelling drama, very interesting. It's 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 good enough to watch, but I understand why it was snubbed from award season, if that makes sense. Like, because it feels like Oscar bait, right? Like Nuremberg,
Yeah, yeah.
like historical drama piece, like home run for like Oscar, not best actor, best supporting actor kind of nominations. Uh, and I don't know, like it was good, but it wasn't great. And I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
There's just something about it that just didn't fully compel me, but I'm glad I watched it.
Mhm.
Nuremberg, if you're a history guy, check it out. You'll like it. If not, if you're not a history guy, gal, I I would say pass. Tommy, what about you? Did you see anything recently?
Well, I'll talk briefly about what I saw in theaters, and that was, I saw Stand By Me, Rob Reiner's 88 1986, I
I
think it
couldn't make
was.
it work. I tried to go.
Oh, dude, I saw this movie for the first time a couple months ago, like, back in December, which we should have covered, and, we still have time. We can still cover it
It's
eventually,
his 40th
but
anniversary.
yeah, 40th anniversary. But, seeing it in theaters, like, so I saw it at home. This is again another thing about the theatrical experience. Seeing it at home, it was good. I loved it. It's still like a five-star movie for me. But then when I saw it in theaters, just like maybe it's just being in like a closed, dark room where it just hit me emotionally like so much more than it did the first time around. Where just like almost every moment of like, River Phoenix talking to Will Wheaton and like them crying and stuff like that just really got to my heartstrings in a way that I was almost there, almost able to get there at home, but seeing theaters just like really pushed over the edge where like, you're really able to commit to that feeling that emotion. So
Yeah,
that was great.
that is another part of that theatrical experience too. Is just like there's something forthcoming about that shared experience.
Mhm.
Sitting there looking up at the screen, and it just isolates you from the world in a way that you can't do at home because the dryer's running, one
Yeah.
of the fire alarm beeping, something's going on. There's an ambulance driving by, like something's going on that's going to whoop, like you're out of it a little bit. But
And
that's
it's easy to get your friend to not talk when you're in theaters where it's like, okay, shut up.
I do have a friend that I have to be selective with when I take him to movies because he talks. He's a yapper through movies, and I just have to be look at him and just go, you gotta shut the fuck up, man. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
Well,
I can't do this. Like, I think the only time I yapped during Scream 7 with Emily
yeah, that's so
because
good.
it was like it sucked, and it was just
I'm not
like
gonna judge you for that.
but yeah, no, like, if it's like a real if I'm sitting in like a real movie, like, I'm gonna be quiet the whole time, but in in like a half empty screening of Scream 7, it was like and like nobody's
Yeah,
sitting
yeah.
around us, I'm like, we're gonna talk through
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
okay? This
Well, it's like
movie's ridiculous."
I saw like Friday, one of the Friday 13th a month ago, like part six, and people behind us were talking the whole time. It was actually part seven, but anyways, people were talking behind us the whole time. And like, if it was any other movie, I would have been pissed off. But like this time, I was like, they're like making fun of the movie. It's fine. It's whatever. It's a rowdy vibe. You're not gonna get offended
Yeah.
because for someone making jokes for that.
Yeah, like
Everyone's getting a little drunk.
last week we talked about our cat's theatrical experience, and, like,
Yeah.
everybody was talking through that, but that was, I think for us, like, I don't know how many people there knew what they were getting into, but, like, we definitely did, so we were
Mhm.
totally cool with it. Um,
Or like seeing Samurai Cop in theaters was like that. Whereas
yeah,
that
yeah,
was a
it's
great screening.
no, a bad movie is one that you can talk through, but if you're like, I the last bad experience I had of, like, people really talking during the movie was when I saw, which one was it? Was it Superman or no, it was Fantastic Four. I definitely
Oh,
talked
you
about
told
it
me
on
this.
the
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But it and then it's like, what is the point of lying? Because it was like these 15-year-old girls or something like that, like, they were all just yapping, and I'm just like I'm not like, I don't wanna be that guy, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
do I wanna be the guy to start yelling at, like, a bunch of teenagers? Like,
I do have 2 stories for that.
yeah,
In the back.
I know you do. Like, where do I cross that line, that George Costanza line? "Do you wanna take it outside?
Yeah. Again,
Inside,
George
love it!"
George C he's so much my spirit animal. There's one time, this was back in, like, September, I went to a screening, Labor Day screening. It was Batman and then Batman Returns, and
Mhm.
Batman was fine, no issues with that. These are the Tim Burton ones. Then Batman Returns, Dane DeVito, like, Michelle Pfeiffer one, some woman brought her fucking kid in the, goddamn theater, and, like 2 or 3-year-old kid that was just babbling, and like a kid does. I mean, I'm not gonna blame the kid.
Yeah.
The kid doesn't know any better, but it's like the mom, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" So I got ma management involved, my girlfriend got management involved, management just, like, wimped out and said, "Sorry, there's nothing we could do. We could give you a refund." Well, it's like, well, you're not showing this movie again later this week, so fuck it, I'm sticking through. So I got so pissed
Mm,
off immediately. Like I might be the villain of the story, but I was like, I started yelling. I was like, "Shut your kid up!" Like straight up, I was like, "Shut up,
it's just that
stop."
line you get when you get because like 10 years ago would have just been like sitting in the theater glaring, just like
Oh no! I have a story from back then too.
do
Uh,
you?
20 2014, Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out,
Oh, who
and
cares?
I saw some
Awful.
friends. I think part of it was I was pissed off that the movie was awful. I was like, "This movie fucking sucks." But I remember there were some middle schoolers that were in the screen with us that were, this is a 2014, so it's only gotten worse since then. But there are, some middle schoolers that were taking fucking selfies with their iPhones with the
Ooh.
flash on during the movie and stuff like that, and loudly talking. So I went up to them. I was like, "Can you stop, please? Just stop." And they, like, got, like, fucking, like, shell shocked and, like, they immediately, like, just, like, stopped doing anything for the rest of the movie, and I was, like, so satisfied. At the same time, I was fucking fuming because I was like, "They're butchering my boy Peter Parker out there, and I have to fucking deal with these kids taking selfies in this fucking theater at the same time."
Yeah, I mean, that's like w one of the all-time worsts, like, just
Yeah, yeah.
truly, like, not even like a fun bad watch, just like a, "Oh, this is awful, there's
I
nothing fun about this, I would prefer to be, like, watching paint dry than doing
Oh,
this."
yeah. I had the DVD because at Walmart, I
Of
bought,
course
like, a
you did.
Spider I bought, like, a Spider-Man DVD set that was, like, the Raimi movies and the Andrew Garfield ones. So it's like, "Oh, I'll buy for the Raimi ones, and I'll get around to the Andrew Garfield ones." Never once had I been like, "You know what I wanna put on? An
The
Andrew
Amazing
Garfield
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man."
Yeah, ugh,
Yeah.
no.
Never I've been like, felt the desire to watch those ones, but the
No,
Raimi ones,
there
I'll throw those
there
on all the time.
I think it's interesting with those Spider-Man movies, like, I always have an inkling to start Spider-Man 1, and then I start it, and then I'm just like, "This isn't definitely" like, it
Oh, I still
rocks.
love it.
It rocks, but it's not as good as I remember it, um, as, like, a kid and stuff. 2 still rips, and then 3 is just a good time. Like, 3 is r like, the quality
I'm
of
like a
3 is worse, but it's a great time.
I'm like a 3 defender. I don't think it's an amazing movie by any
It's not.
stretch, but it's fun. It's fun. It has its moments, and if they got rid of Venom, then it would've been better, but that's a whole other
Yeah,
discussion.
but it's funny also, so it has that going
Exactly.
for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not good, but it's very funny, so it's
It's a
perfectly
fun 3 out of 5.
sure. But yeah,
I think it's fair.
uh, yeah, you know what, Tommy, you have your own scale. I haven't watched it in a couple of years. I would have to dive back in and take a look at it, but this is Thief, Michael Mann's 1981 thriller.
Christ and lights. Just diamonds or cash. They gotta be big scores, they gotta be fast. How big? Rock's car. Not under 6 figures. We know you got something major coming down. We are us. James Caan, Thief, rated R. Coming soon to a theater near you. Check newspapers.
Thief, also screened as Violent Streets, is a 1981 American neo-noir crime film written and directed by Michael Mann in his feature film debut. It stars James Caan as a professional safecracker trying to escape his life of crime, and Tuesday Weld as his wife. The supporting cast includes Jim Belushi, Robert Prosky, Dennis Farina, and Willie Nelson. The screenplay is inspired by the 1975 memoir The Home Invaders: Confessions of a Cat Burglar by former cat burglar Frank Hoheimer. Hoheimer. The original musical score was composed and performed by Tangerine Dreams. I almost got through that one.
Yeah.
And then Frank Hoheimer. That is
That threw you off.
that is some Midwest Polak last name right there. That is what that is. Frank
Yeah,
Hoheimer.
yeah.
Minnesota. Uh, yeah, that was so Thief. We got to
First of all,
say
a Jerry Bruckheimer movie. I did not
yeah,
expect that.
one of the early
This
Jerry Bruckheimer movies, and if you're not just think of Pirates of the Caribbean, and you've got
Pirates of the
Jerry Bruckheimer.
Caribbean and Bad Boys and, like,
Top
a lot of
Gun.
Tony Scott movies, essentially. A lot of Tony
Yeah, he
Scotts.
just does, like, big action movies. It's very interesting watching this compared like, that name struck me in the credits, like, because I don't know if the audience knows this, but I go into movies as blind as I humanly can. Like,
Mhm.
I don't like, I knew
Same.
Thief was James Caan. Like, I knew Michael Mann, James Caan. I don't
Yeah.
try to go in with, like, a big background on who all the cast was, who everybody was, blah, 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 blah. Like, if
This
I
is
go
a crazy one to go in blind and see the cast where you're like, "Holy shit. Wait,
Ye
Willie Nelson's in this movie? James Belushi? Dennis Farina is in this movie? Like, what?"
yeah,
Dennis
just
Farina, I didn't recognize Dennis Farina because I'm so used to him with, like, at least Salt and Pepper, whereas this one,
yeah.
he still had some, like, black hair in it,
I
or,
don't know
like,
why it looked like he had a wig on.
I can see that.
Like,
It's funny because Dennis Farina, for those who don't know, like, the fucking Chicago actor, what was that show he was on? Um, Crime
uh,
Story?
yeah,
Or
it was
Law& and
one of
Order,
the
he
it
was
was
on
one
Law&
of
and
those.
Order. He was on one of those a bunch of those shows and stuff like that, but he actually started his career out as a fucking detective. He was like a police detective, and Michael Mann just, like, knew this guy and then cast him in his movies, and, I think just, like, an all-timer Chicago actor.
Yeah,
Um, and of course, this is a bit part for him, so, like, I didn't really catch him this time
he's
until
just
I
there
looked.
at the end.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly, he's one of the
it's
guys at
funny
the
to
end.
say he's a part of the member of the supporting cast when he's, like, in the movie for maybe 2 minutes, like, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, he's just, like, a heavy in this, but it this movie revolves around James Caan and us learning how to empathize with James Caan. Like, James Caan is pretty infamously, like, not the easiest guy to work with, like, big
Yeah,
temper, it shows on the in the performances, right? Like,
mm,
he was always kinda difficult, but he has a way where he's got that, like, cult of personality thing where he speaks with such conviction that you're just like, "Yeah, this guy's right." You know what I mean? Like, and
immediately.
I think with his character Frank, what I found very interesting was how they, like, kinda scattered information about his past and his upbringing, like, the main one being between him and, Tuesday Weld, who plays Jesse, is who works at a diner. He takes her out for coffee, and then they're married, essentially, is what happened. Um, but it was interesting, like, how he like, we got a sense of his background, and I actually found once they were married and she said, he has this vision. He has a picture that he scraped together while he was in prison
Mm.
of, um of the
What's
house, the
what's go
kids, like, what he wants out of
everything.
life.
This is a scene that, like, really stood out to me. So, we're basically there's a whole diner scene. This scene probably took place like 10 minutes, and it's just two characters talking the whole time. And there's some ways where you can see it in the edit or in the direction where a scene like that can be very static or boring, where like, your attention's just not really caught, and you're just like, okay, whatever, it's not really there. But the way that he frames it, and like just the way that like the scene, like how it cuts back and forth, or the editing in this diner scene is just so magnetic, where you constantly have like cut from like close up to close up to close up, where it slowly gets closer and they're starting to connect with each other a little bit more, and then cuts to wide immediately, and like it's not like jarring like in a way like on a Bohemian Rhapsody was with this editing, where it's so frantic. But this one is just like magnetic and it gets you in, and then you have James Caan. I feel like that Michael Mann really takes advantage of how James Caan is a good listener in this movie. And you have some
Mhm.
things where Tuesday Well just bouncing off him in this diner scene, telling him off, and it doesn't show Tuesday Well like saying it. It just shows Jimmy Caan reacted to it and just interpreting it and
Well,
taking it in.
I thought another great shot of that was during the big bank job. So, like,
Mm,
plot of this movie is James Caan is looking to retire from his job as a cat burglar, but he's gotta make one last score.
yeah.
It's that movie. Um, but during that climax of it, after he torches open the safe and Jim Belushi's, like, emptying everything out, he grabs a chair from the lobby and just sits down, and he's just leaning back in there, and I noticed it because the camera stays on it for a while. It's not
Yeah.
it's like 30 seconds to a minute of the movie is committed to this frame, and it's just a reflection of, like, him and just, like, the way James Caan is able to portray, like, relief and that I've won, and that it's over, right? Like that is his whole like conviction here is that
Mhm.
he's won. Um, but I knew something was off. I could tell with L- Leo, played by Robert Broski, who's just he's excellent in this as the
And this is his first movie. I mean, he was a character actor for years, and he made his film debut at the age of 50, which is wild.
I mean perfect guy for like just middle-aged like
Mhm.
gangster who runs the entire city.
Yeah.
Um where he's just he like he has this way of connection, this like this very like old school like it was kind of reminding me of like Goodfellas, Sopranos, like any kind of mobster kind of movie, like just
Mhm.
like that way of like personalizing and connection to get things that you want, and then just like the ruthlessness that we see from him. And it's only in one scene, the scene where Jim Belushi dies, and they take him to some factory with minerals to dissolve a human body. Um, Where it's like, "You work for me, you understand this, I'll kill you, I'll kill your wife, I'll take back your son that I gave you. I bought him, he's on lease, do you understand this?" There's no retirement, there's no walking away from this, and I feel like when once James Caan, because like, him and his wife were struggling to get a baby. Once James Caan had to, um, like, made that deal to get a son, because like, he wasn't having any luck with an adoption agency because of his
Yeah.
criminal past. I knew from there, I was like, "Oh, he just signed the deal with the devil, like, this guy controls him now," in a way that his mindset and the way he operates his business, he doesn't see it as. Because like, he was very straight up with Leo. Because the way the movie opens is which great opening, by the way, just like a quick in and
Oh,
out
yeah,
hit.
yeah.
Oh god, awesome. Of them just, like, scraping the diamonds, and their fence is killed, and he's lost $185,000. So he goes to like a framing company, and like instigates the owner of it, pulls out a gun, like this whole thing. I thought it was wild that like this was clearly an office, like it's a front for something, but these people up there are definitely
Yeah,
like office
yeah.
workers, and he's just like walking through there with a gun. I was just like, yeah, maybe the gun can go away now. Like I don't think you're gonna get shot at this point. Um,
You might be okay.
I think you're out of the realm of danger at this moment. But then they meet to get the money back later, and like a scene later, which is where we're introduced to Sergeant Urizi, who's just what a great little side character in this movie. Just like,
Mm.
like just a great little like
Well,
realm.
apparently that guy was, like, a real criminal and, like, it was, like, yeah, previously arrested, and then, like, he became, like, a technical advisor for this movie on, like, what thieves do. Like,
Oh, really? The
yeah, yeah, Michael Mann just, like, filled in the character beats for, like between that and casting Dennis Farina, who was not an actor at the time, just, like, he just picked up guys on the street. It's like, "Yeah, you look good. Do it."
It's like that's a Tim and Eric thing to do. Like, if you ever watched Tim
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Eric, awesome show, great job. Like they did some Craigslist casting, you can tell. And Michael Mann was doing that before Craigslist, just like being like, "Yeah, you seem to know your stuff. Can you say some lines in front of a camera? Okay, boom, good to go." Uh,
Yeah.
like that kind of attitude, and it feels in this movie. It just gives this like very blue collar,
A lot of
um,
grit, like, in real, like, salt of the earth type thing where, like,
like
you'd feel it. You feel in Robert Prosky where, like, there's a reason why that guy ended up being, like, such a great character actor over the years. He was in shit like Last Action Hero and stuff like that, where you constantly see him in Gremlins 2 and shit like that, and Christine, where he was a guy that constantly was putting up, like, numbers, and, like, it took a guy like Michael Mann in his first movie, first of all, to pick out this cast and just his eye for talent. He just knew and he saw, like, "Okay, this guy is gonna be something."
yeah, this I this feels very much like a '70s movie to me. Like it just
Yeah.
like everything about this does not like the '80s are a weird movie because like there's usually a movie that kicks off like a decade, right? Like of like okay, we're transitioning. So like the '80s kick off with Empire Strikes Back. Like that is like there is a very clear transition from like a 1970s movie to a 1980s movie. And then when you get into the '90s, it's like '93. It's Jurassic Park, where it's like, okay, we're moving on from the '80s. We're here now, and each decade seems to kind of have that kind of piece. Like I would say the '70s, it's The Godfather in '72, um, where we're shifting out of frame here, and I look at this movie. I'm just like, this is a very '70s holdover. Like this movie
Oh, yeah.
moves like a '70s movie. It's directed and like it just plays like a '70s movie in a way that like I think think 1981 Thief. You're like this is gonna be with Tangerine Dream score. You're like this is gonna be an '80s movie, and it's not.
Yeah, the only thing that feels '80s about it is maybe the Tangerine Dream score part of it. But, there's one thing when I saw that, like I said, going in blind, when I saw that Tangerine Dream was doing the score, I was like, "Alright, we got ourselves a fucking movie." For those of you who don't
Yeah,
know, Tangerine Dream was, like, an '80s, like, German, like, electronic band. And think of just, like, kinda similar to John Carpenter, where it was, like, a lot of their scores were shit just like, great
synthy.
electronic synthy, full of synth. They scored one of my favorite movies, Near Dark, a movie that we'll have to cover one day once it's finally on streaming and stuff like that. And they've done like shit like that over and over again. They did Risky Business, they did Flashpoint, they did 3 O'Clock High. They were just like in the moment where you got that thing where you see like, okay, Taylor Dream's doing this. I'm in. I'm going for it, and it just adds such great atmosphere, especially, like, towards the end of the movie when you have that big shootout, like, the climax of the movie when he invades Robert Presky's house, James Caan, and, like, shoots all the guys up, and you have this, like, whole entire guitar solo type thing. It feels like Pink Floyd almost. It almost feels, like, Comfortably Numb. That's what I was kinda, like, picking up on, in that final scene. The song
Mm,
that plays over the end
yeah,
credits,
yeah.
and it adds such amazing, cool atmosphere to this. It's great. Michael Mann in some ways is like the epitome of style over substance, but in the best way possible. And the Tangerine score like emphasizes that
Yeah, but the
throughout
style
this.
never takes away from the substance, if that makes sense. Like this movie
Yeah,
still has the 10-minute diner scene where we're fully understanding Frank's character. Like this movie
yeah.
still like lives in that world. And it's I think that's a difference between like a style versus a substance or like movies. So like I think of the Neon Demon as the ultimate
Well, when you watch
style
most
over
like
substance movie.
yeah, like almost any Italian giallo when we watch like Suspiria and shit like that, we're like, okay, this movie rocks, it's fun, but there's not much meat in the bones here. And this doesn't have that. I mean, like you said, the diner scene just gives all the characterization you need for this, especially with a movie that like feels like it flies through like different timelines and just goes through like, oh, now he's a kid, now he's married, and all this. You have that diner scene to anchor your character and give the character development right there, and even stuff like,
Well, it's direction for the character. It's, like, understanding, like, why is this guy doing this? And it's
or
done in such
even the scene in the, or when he tries to, like, adopt a kid, and there's a suburban woman that, like, the upper what, middle
middle
class or
class
whatever,
woman,
that
yeah.
doesn't do not understand that he's a convict and stuff like that, or he's like, "Oh, shining shoes in the prison." And again, another great moment of James Caan just reacting and just, like,
Yeah.
figuring out,
He's
like, "I'm not
react
gonna get this kid."
and he's, like he's so close to flying off the handle, and he doesn't there, but he's
Mm,
just like, "Where did you grow up? In the suburbs?" She's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, well, I grew up in a green room with 4 walls, and you just became, like, a slave to that because" then it's like, "Okay, this guy was also raised in, like, a foster care system." So he's saying, like, "Get me any kid get me any kid you can." You know, there's plenty of kids that don't wanna be adopted, like, we'll take one of them, and, like, they're just like, "No, no, with your background, there's just no possible way that we could possibly blah, 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 da, 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 da." And, like,
yeah.
it's funny then to see, Jesse, kinda be standing there, like, calming him down in a situation where if she wasn't there, he's probably off the lid.
Yeah, yeah, he's probably getting thrown out by security, like, physically, in a way instead of, like, the way it was like, you should get out of here. But back to the style though. I mean, the cinematography of this movie is just like incredible.
Yeah,
This
Donald
was shot
Thorin.
by Donald E. Thorin. For those of you who don't know, Donald E. Thorin, this is his first movie he shot, but he also shot, just to name off some of his credits, Purple fucking Rain, Purple Rain, Tango and Cash, Golden Child, like Ace Ventura, Son of a Woman. Became like a big like Hollywood like cinematographer after this, and you can see it because this movie has so many great like nighttime scenes of James Caan just walking around the rain that just like feels so magnetic and just really locks you in, especially when you have that Dream score going over it.
Yeah, no, the and I one of the shots that really stuck with me was, after Khan sends his like, and it also just to like, I feel like another great moment after Khan is threatened by Leo, um, and Khan goes to the house and gives his wife money, and it's just like, "You need to get out," and does not explain a single thing that is going on to her, just like, "You're gonna pay this guy $20,000 a month to take care of you, to look after you. You're going to do this, that, and the other thing," and just, like, not explaining that he's about to go blow up his life because he's like, "I am ending our relationship because I'm about to go throw my life away." Like
But he realizes immediately in that moment, like, you know, if you stick around with me, like, you are gonna die. You're gonna come in harm, and
yeah,
I don't want that for you.
but instead of but he communicates it in
Yeah, he
in
doesn't
his
say it.
way of just being like, "Get out." Like, instead of,
Yeah.
like, explaining, being like, "These men are going to hurt you, they're going to kill you, you need to go into hiding. I hope we can connect soon, but I need to take care of things. You need to go."
He's
Um,
like, "What, they killed, fucking Jim Belushi, according to Jim's No More. Get out of here."
according to Jim's No More. Uh, yeah, there's none of that, but it just like, it's another great but the style scene is like he's driving towards his used car lot to start blowing everything up, and there's the shot of the hood of the Cadillac with all the reflections of the neon signs, like, pouring
Oh,
down
yeah.
on it, the lighting there, and
Incredible.
I was just like,
Well, it's
"That's a shot. That's a
Well,
movie
it's
shot
it's
right
it's
there."
one thing, like, when we covered, Manhunter back in the day. We covered that, like, a few years back, and that was his 3rd movie at that point, and that movie had so much great use of lighting, and it's something that's, like, a constant, like, reminder that Michael Mann, rather, just knows how to do such great shots and such great style. When you watch the Miami Vice, the TV show, you see his stamp on it, even though he didn't direct all the episodes. In the pilot episode, the criminals, or the cops, rather, chase down a criminal and, like, have a final showdown while fucking Phil Collins is in the air tonight is playing over it, and it's like, this is the coolest fucking thing ever. So, Michael Mann just knows how to make a scene just bounce off the screen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Another thing too, like, this film, like, gets recognition from petty thieves and criminals because they say the tools used and the technique of the trade was accurate. Like, this was down to a science. And I think it is, it goes into the style of it though, because in all Michael Mann pictures, there is just an incredible attention to detail that is just,
Mhm.
it's just laced in it. You feel it like when it starts, like just in like the opening frames, you just tell. Um, like I think of that opening to Heat, right? Like just like through that hospital, following Neil through there after we see the surrounding Los Angeles area, and it's just like there's a different feeling to a Michael Mann movie, and I think that's an important reason why we're kind of covering this month. And I think as we go through more of the movies, we'll be able to uncover more of that um more of that realization because there is such a for me there's such a like I sit anytime I watch a Michael Mann movie, I'm just sitting there like I wish I was in a theater just fully locked in for this,
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah. Especially, like, this and Heat, like, are probably, like, the 2 biggest ones. Where just, like, I, like, would be so excited to see this because, like, can you imagine, like, just having the Tangerine Dream score just pulsing through the fucking theater while you're watching these scenes and just, like, crystal clear projection? It'd be amazing. And one thing I'm really excited about, for our Michael Mann month is, we're doing Thief, which is his first movie ever in 1981, and then we're going more towards his late period afterwards, where it's, like, Collateral and Miami Vice. So we're gonna get to see, like, in real time how this guy evolved, like, throughout the past, like, 20 years between Thief and, Collateral and Miami Vice. It's gonna be great.
it is going to be great. Did you ever see Public Enemies?
That's one I haven't seen too. We're thinking about
Ooh.
having a 4th one. There might be a 4th one we're gonna cover this
I
month.
I
So
I stand on Public Enemies not being the greatest movie ever made, but I have a
yeah.
full fascination with John Dillinger and just that like bank robbing heroism of the 1930s, which is just like awesome to think about in the context of history. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a very uneven movie for sure, but it still has that like I remember that being one of those movies like I got so excited for when it came out and I saw it and I was like I had to like convince myself that it was good. There's a YouTube
If I
video.
if I kn if I knew who Michael Mann was, because I remember the trailer, because it played, like, before Dark Knight or something,
Yeah.
and if I knew who Michael Mann was, like, at that time, I would've been like, "Day 1, I'm going in there."
Yeah, it's definitely uneven, but I think it would be an interesting one to cover because I feel like we're getting like we've covered 2 certified Michael Mann bangers. We're covering another 3 certified Michael Mann bangers. Like, maybe we cover one that's, like, a little more iffy. Like, I think a lot of times like, I think of Darkman as, like, a great example of this where, like no, like, you know what I'm gonna say, but it's just like, watching Darkman, like, made me understand Sam Raimi as a director more because there were just so many pieces that didn't work. I understood what really does stand out in his work. Like, when the illusion is a little bit shattered, you get to see the pieces of the armor that do work. Um,
Yeah, you get to see the strengths, in a way, when you get s when you have a movie that's, like, kinda flawed.
yeah, when a movie's a little bit flawed. I know I mentioned them before, but I needed to bring up Sergeant Urizi, and I think Director Boresco is the other guy that, like, are tailing Michael Mann as soon as he makes the deal with Leo, and, like, they're on the payroll, obviously, so they're just, like, crooked cops who stop him down and are just like, "Hey, you know, like, we get 10 points on any of your scores." And James Caan's like, "N no, you don't. What do you" he's like, I don't know you guys. What are you talking about?" And then, like, they disappear from the movie for 20 minutes, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden,
yeah.
they just show up again, and like, pull him over and come out with, like, rifles, and he's like, "What did I do?" And they just bust his taillight, like, they kick it in and just go, like, "Busted taillight," and then we just cut to, like, the tightest shot in the movie in, like, an interrogation room where they're just wailing on him.
Beating the shit out of him over and over again, just kicking him.
And they're
Just
yeah, they're
they're taking their turns with him.
just completely mauling him. And then there's just a great back and forth between Khan like, one of the police guys being like, "Hey, you know, I think you're a guy I would like to catch a ball game with. Grab a beer." You know, "But there's ways things are done here. All you have to do is just give us points." And he's just like, "Fuck you, no." And then he just starts
Yeah.
insulting Uffizi, just calling him a bunch of Italian slurs, um, getting him all riled up. And then it cuts immediately to the police POV after he leaves that, where they're tailing James Caan. And
Yeah.
and it's just like this great because there's no setup to because this is what leads to the heist. There's no setup to that. From the audience perspective, we're just like, okay, so they're really tailing this guy. And James Caan parks. He takes out a package. They're like parked a couple blocks away, so they can't see it, but they're just tailing him. They're like, we're gonna get this guy. He's gonna be sloppy, And then James Caan drives away. They're like, okay, we got the tracker. Let's go. And they're following a bus to Des Moines. It's just incredible. And then it cuts to the
Yeah,
rooftop and they're breaking into the bank. I was like, oh, okay. So he was like,
yeah.
the job was happening tonight. They kind of knew that, and he threw them off the tail. Like, just incredible stuff
Great
there.
shit. And I do like just how it's framed though, the final thing. Like in a typical movie, that would be like the climax where like I was almost expecting something like The Town where like something was gonna go wrong on that last job where like they had to fight for their lives or something like that and get out and that way. But instead, the final heist goes off without a hitch. There's no drama. There's no real like anything. It's not the point of the movie. That's not the point of the stakes right there. It's just you get in, you get out. James Caan's a professional. He knows what the fuck he's doing in this.
Yeah, I thought an awesome clip on that though was like they showed us the detail of them like cutting into the wires and stuff and like
Yeah,
testing
yeah.
the transmission on the wires to make sure that they're cutting the right one for the alarm sensors. Like just such awesome stuff. Really, really cool.
Right.
I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
All right, Tommy, who is the star of the show? Who gave the best performance?
It's obviously Jim Belushi. I
It's
mean, like, let's get real.
obviously Jim Belushi.
No, but I mean, this is Jimmy Caan all day. But one person we haven't really talked about at all is the love interest in this movie, and it's Tuesday Weld. Tuesday Weld was like a real big star back in the day to the point that like Michael Mann was saying, like, me and, like, other people in that generation just had a huge crush on her. We had to cast her, and, a movie like this doesn't work if the love interest scene is something you just wanna fast forward, and then, like, when you have, like, your action movie or whatever, and the love interest is like, "Alright, like, this is just awful, there's no chemistry right here, it doesn't work." But you have that diner scene, and both of them just going off and bouncing off each other, talking about shit, going off of what's going on, and Tuesday Welds keeping her own with James Caan, and you're just as compelled to her as you are with the lead of the movie. And if that doesn't work, then the whole movie, just like that whole scene, which is probably the most pivotal scene in this movie,
Oh, yeah, well, it tells
wouldn't
you
work. And
this movie's
yeah, the movie would
technically
fall
a
apart.
this movie's technically a love story, like,
Mhm.
in its own way. I don't wanna say twisted way, but, like, that scene also tells us why Jessie, Tuesday Weld's character, like, she was talking about being a drifter, she was with another man, it turned violent, he got into drugs, he died, she was alone on the streets of Bogota, had to get back. So she's like, she's a fighter, she's a scrapper, she's lived on the streets, so she can understand when James Caan tells her, she's a thief. She doesn't do what, like, a normal person does and go, "Oh my god, let me run to the door. Bye."
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there's just an understanding of, like, having to make your own ends meet here, and, like, getting things, and I think it's a very strong performance,
Mhm.
it's a very, like.
Even in her scene where, like, Jimmy Conn's like fucking telling her, like, "Hey, like, get the fuck out of my house right now. You're gonna go to this guy, you're gonna pay him." And like the way she's just reacting
Mhm.
and like just like so confused about what's happening is just so great and
Well,
heartbreaking.
I thought it was the way she's able to portray with her face, confusion into
Yeah.
anger, like, where, like, it was just, like, a small change in the facial expressions that just really came out and really, like, highlighted her performance, and I think with her too, like, we saw throughout the movie, like, Frank is almost always, and it's a James Caan staple to just be, like, almost flying off the handle, like, she is his piece, you know what I mean? Like, even though
Yeah,
they
yeah.
had been together for a short time, like, he seems the happiest, like, when they're at the Chinese restaurant, like, it's a great little scene there. They just got the baby, and they haven't named it yet, so they name it David after, James Caan's mentor, Willie Nel we didn't even touch on Willie Nelson being in this for 2
Well,
scenes.
I think Willie Nelson's just a great, like, narrative point of, like, showing, like, Jimmy Caan, like, this is what your life could be if you keep on following down this path,
Yeah,
and
oh, yeah,
this is
that
what
he's there to kinda, like,
a
conflate
warning.
that, a
And
warning.
it's probably the youngest I've ever seen Willie Nelson, 'cause I'm not a big Willie Nelson guy. I haven't watched, like, the '70s or '80s clips. It was funny seeing him, I was like, "Oh, what?" He's actually a good actor too.
Yeah, he comes off strong in his one heat check where he's telling James Caan he's going to die, and we've learned that he was his parent figure, and then next time we see him, he's in a hospital and he's 1 second away from death. So, I
Yeah.
he's barely in the movie despite being, like, one of the top billed actors in there. I guess that just has to do with being Willie Nelson. Like, you got Willie Nelson in
Yeah,
your
yeah.
first movie, like, you're gonna have to give him a top billing no matter
You're gonna
what he
mention
does.
it. And that
Um
and Jim Belushi, you're gonna have to give Jim Belushi top billing.
Yeah, and listen, that's Jimmy Caan's guy, okay? Jim Belushi, Jim and Jim. Uh,
Oh,
but I mean, it's James Caan, like, if you didn't believe that this guy like, there's something about Caan's character being so, like, tough and rough and on the edge of life, and yet, like, you can tell he's a guy trying to make his way straight, like, I can't tell if he owns or he just works at a used car dealership, like, he's trying to live, like, a straight and narrow life, but he can work these jobs professionally and easily and make money, and now that he's in a situation with a that now that he's was able to get a family, he's able to escape from that, and he's
well,
like.
Michael Mann really knew what he was working with, because like, there's, like I said, like, so many reaction scenes, and, like, one of the greatest was, like, him just, like, hearing from Robert Prosky, like, "Hey, like, this isn't all the money, and this is what's gonna happen," and stuff like that, when they're in his, like, in Robert Prosky's basement, and just, like, reacting to that and figuring out, like, "Oh," like, and he's realizing, like, "There's no clean way for me to get out of this, like, I'm fucked."
Yeah.
And Jimmy Caan, I was thinking about this, like, his career is kinda interesting, where, like, he didn't, I feel like, reach the full A-list status that, like, a Pacino did from, like,
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Godfather. I think he was, like, slightly below that. He was maybe like a B plus actor where, like, he was in shit like Rollerball and, stuff like that, and,
He
like,
always
Dick
showed up.
Tracy. He always showed up. He was always good, and he was always, like, the supporting role. To the point, like, in the '90s, he was doing shit like I watched a Racer recently where he's the villain in that, a Schwarzenegger movie that's, like, mostly forgotten to time.
Mhm.
Um, but, like, in this movie, when, like, he's given the lead in a movie, like, something's good. Between this and, like, Misery and shit like that, it's like, "Okay, we got a movie when Jimmy Caan's in the lead."
And I know this
We're getting there.
podcast is like 54, 55 minutes in, but to our Gen Z listeners who may not know who Jimmy Caan is, James Caan, um, he is Walter Hobbs in Elf. He is the dad in Elf. That is the guy.
Yeah.
That is the guy who we were referring to, this whole time.
And remember, he was still alive when we did The Godfather, because he died, like, around, like, the first
Around that
6 months of
time.
our podcast,
Yeah.
and, I remember how great his Twitter presence was?
Oh, yeah.
James Caan had an amazing Twitter presence, and it is a tragedy that we don't get to see it anymore. Because like, he would send, like, random shit where it's like, "Here's me on the set of Elf. Send tweet."
Yeah, he would just say, like, "Send tweet." It's kinda like Clint Eastwood's Twitter where it's just, like, random pictures of him, like, he just, like I imagine he's not posting it, like, can you imagine showing Clint Eastwood an iPhone? Like, I can't.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that's a guy who should never, ever hold an iPhone ever in
You
his
can't
life.
process an empty chair.
Yeah, so no, but I like how you're like, yeah, James Caan, terrible loss. What a Twitter presence. Like, oh, that's why it was a terrible loss. But it did seem like in his later
Well,
years,
it's one of many things, yeah.
he he came it seems like he seemed to be a little bit more jovial and open towards the end of his life, which I think is a good thing because I it like the anger always feels really real with him, and you just know there's demons underneath that were eating at him, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't
Yeah, yeah.
just come from nowhere, uh, the anger that James Caan had. But, yeah, this is the James Caan Award for Star of the Show. Tommy, in agreeance?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, are you ready, comedy partner? Waka waka.
Alright, Tommy, would Thief work as a Muppet adaptation?
I don't see it. I can't
I don't either.
see like a I can't see a Muppet mood piece because it'd be like Kermit as James Caan, just like walking down the street and like fucking neon lights, just like depressed.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work. You can't see it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you keep Jim Belushi because he's a Muppet.
Yeah, he kind of is a live action Muppet, especially with those sideburns in this. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, I know upstairs Steve always says he's like, "You can turn anything into a Muppet adaptation," but I just I feel like with the Muppet adaptation, like, there has to be some truth of the source material left, you could make a Jewel Thief Muppet movie, but
That was the Muppet Caper, or was
yeah,
that the
The Great
Muppet
Muppet
movie with, or the Muppets Most Wanted was that too? Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, you need you can't lose what the movie was about, you know, and I feel like that's the line that you need to blend, like, yeah, you could take the bones of Thief and turn it into a Muppet movie, they have.
I mean, this movie doesn't have enough levity to
Yeah.
make it really. It'd feel weird
There's, like,
if you
no
got.
there's, like, no humor in this whatsoever.
Yeah,
None.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And the
Uh,
only humor is seeing Jim Belushi act. He's just taking pot shots by me all
yeah,
day.
you're just you are doing Jay Leno comedy bits right now, just taking shots at Jim Belushi, man. Um, alright, review time, Tommy. Give me a score out of 5.
So Michael Mann, first movie is a banger. This movie rocks. Incredible score by Tangerine Dream. I at first was like writing down my notes, like, oh, like this movie's style over substance, but I started realizing, like, okay, no, this more has more to it. But once it gets in, it gets in. I'm gonna go 4 out of 5. Really fun movie, and just like amazing performance by James Caan. And it's great that like he's the only character that has any character development whatsoever. So I feel like if it fleshed out maybe a little bit more, like Heat does or something like that, or maybe a little more runtime, you could have added a little bit more to that juice. But as a debut, fantastic. So 4 out of 5.
Yeah, this is the 4 out of 5 for me as well, and I feel like it would go up in a movie theater screening.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
same.
I just you get sucked into this world immediately. You learn to empathize with James Caan's character, and you understand his drive and goal. you really see the framework of a Michael Mann movie. You just see the blueprint for everything that wants to do and does with his career. Um, and just the way that he's able to get the ambiance of his worlds imagined. You feel it in the debut. Like you feel it, you get sucked in, and it's one hell of a ride. I highly recommend 4 to 5. Tommy, any final thoughts before we wrap up this episode?
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. You can find us on Scene It Pod. That's on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We're also on Blue Sky at podscene.bluesky.social. And we also have a couple sponsors to mention. First off, I'm going to mention Connecticut Cult Classics. They're located, they do screenings at the Strand in Seymour, Connecticut. They do great like cult classic screenings. Like I've seen like a double feature of RoboCop and Starship Troopers there. I've seen like the Child's Play movies, the first two. I've seen some Freddy Krueger movies there. It's really fun. Like you think your 80s, 90s movies, you're gonna get there. You're gonna like it. They're doing a double feature on April 18th of the Night of the Living Dead remake and the Dawn of the Dead remake. Both are gonna be really fun. I'll be there. Timmy's in Nashville, so it's gonna be a little complicated
I
for
will
him.
be there via
But
FaceTime if you are like, I need to talk to this guy. Like Tommy can
yeah,
FaceTime me,
yeah.
and I will be there. I may be at a
Yeah.
bar somewhere listening to country music and shooting guns, but I will be there.
As Nashville does. But yeah. But again, this is at the Strand Theater in Seymour, Connecticut. You get your tickets at ConnecticutCultClassics.com, April 18th, Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead remakes. Both are really fun. It's gonna be fun. And also, we are sponsored by Old Glory. Old Glory has your iconic music and sports fan merch and movie merch too. Big Lebowski, Jurassic Park, things like that.
Back to
Any
the
sports
Future.
team yeah, Star Wars, Wizard of Oz, like anything you'd think of in terms of like that, and especially sports too. Any team you want, they had the merch for it. You can get great T-shirts, great hoodies, great things. Like I've bought like a David Duchovny poster once there. It's really fun stuff. But
I
you can
bought
get
I bought some Giant stuff, and I have just ordered Mets stuff for opening day. Opening day just happened. Baseball season is back, and I needed some new Mets gear.
hell yeah, hell yeah. So you can get 15% off at oldglory.com by using the promo code SEENIT. SEENIT like the way we spell it on our podcast. So once again, 15% off at oldglory.com using the promo code SEENIT. So yeah,
Ceneit.
yeah.
Thank
And thank you guys for listening. You can leave us a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Helps us out, helps us grow the show. And also, Michael Mann Month is going to be continuing. We're going to be doing Miami Vice next week. We have a special guest for it. It's going to be a good one.
thank you all so much for listening. We will see you next week.